the Mirror now, with the scale of the migrant crisis reaching apocalyptic levels, Francis.
Well, yes, indeed. I mean, I'm just going to take you through a couple of the stats here. There's 175,000 people, 457 waiting for an initial decision on an application, 44% rise from 122,000 earlier this year. That's 175,000 people just in limbo. It's just completely nuts. And the amount of money that we're spending, $3.97 billion, at what point are we going to sort this out? At what point is somebody going to step in and actually implement something that means that we're going to begin to solve this problem?
Well, the trouble with the system at the moment is the asylum system just basically approves everybody, because everybody knows how to game the system. You can say, oh, I'm Christian, I'm LGBTQ, I can't be sent back. You tear up your passport, then you say I'm from Syria, I'm from wherever. So you can't be said, they can't send you back because they don't even know where you're coming from. But you know what buttons to press to get into the system, even though you want to be an economic migrant. So the vast majority get approved, but because so many are being approved, it's not disincentivising more people from making that crossing. And at some point, we've got to grasp the nettle and actually do something to stop people making these risky journeys. And for all that people say they're the most, sort of impoverished or the most, tortured and all the rest of it, the ones that make it all the way to the UK are ones who can pay people traffickers thousands and thousands of pounds to bring them here. So, by definition, they're not the most in need. And it's a real shame that our foreign aid budget is what's being spent on this. So we're actually getting a dividend. Instead of spending our foreign aid budget overseas, we're spending it in this country. So Britain's probably coming out on top. Even though it looks like a ridiculous amount of money, we're probably doing better out of this than if we were spending the foreign aid budget where it would do more good.
There you go. I mean, the problem is, as well, is that the way we talk about it, these people are illegal immigrants. It's illegal. They're breaking the law.
Yeah.
So there are people who are trying to get to this country by legal means, and they are essentially being at the back of the queue because people are kind of the queue. And we're accepting that. We're saying that it's fine and it's
and if there's one thing we won't accept in the UK, it's somebody jumping a queue.
Yeah, exactly.
We should start tutting.
Yes.
Maybe that's how we could solve this crisis. Start tutting at people jumping.
Very un-British.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, surely the first rule of becoming British is you
learn to queue.
Exactly. What we should do is we should be at the beach, and the moment these people come over, we just look at them, tut, and then just give a passive-aggressive comment.
Anyway, we've got the Telegraph now with claims that the migrant crisis is being made worse by charities behaving unethically, Bruce.
Yes, so this is Suella saying that some charities are politically motivated activists masquerading as humanitarians. In particular, she's taking a pop at Claire Mosley, who was the founder of Care for Cali. She's no longer a trustee of that charity due to, I think, financial inappropriate payments. Yeah, it describes payments of £340,000 from the charity into her personal account.
Yeah.
Now, it's interesting because she was over in Belgium. She sounds quite a character. I wasn't familiar. But she was wandering around with pepper spray in Belgium, so maybe that's what she was spending some of the 340k on.
I mean, have you been to Belgium? Probably not a bad idea.
They got beers. I mean, why does she need pepper spray?
I don't know.
Because there's Belgians, mate.
But then another thing, she threatened a volunteer. I shouldn't laugh at this, but she threatened a volunteer by saying, "I'm going to drag you out by your effing hair." And I was like, oh my goodness, because I looked at her hair and the first thing I thought was, that looks quite dry. So I don't know if she had hair jealousy from, whatever. But
Did it remind you of Scotland, that little phrase, Bruce?
What, dry hair?
I'm going to drag you out by your
That's how
effing hair.
most business meetings end in Scotland.
yeah, I think that's kind of parental love, isn't it? If you don't get up and get rid of your skill, I'll drag you out by the effing hair.
Yeah, this £340,000 that was paid from the charity into her personal account, she swears it's very Father Ted. She says it was just resting in her account. It was something to save a little bit of money on transfer fees.
£3,000 on transfer. So I think there's a disparity. Yeah, it doesn't make much sense to me, to be perfectly honest with you. But I think it is kind of tit for tat because Suella doesn't like her because Claire doesn't like Suella's Rwanda project. So I think that's where a lot of this has come from.
Yeah, but these charities are working against the government, and they're not behaving ethically. They're not behaving in the best interest of the people they're supposed to be helping, because they're supposed to be making sure that people are safe.
Yeah.
And they're encouraging people to make this journey, which, as we've seen in the past few weeks, people have died trying to cross the channel.
Well, this is a problem where people are so married to ideology that they don't actually see the reality of the situation. You should not be encouraging any single person to get into a dinghy to try to get to this country. Because if these people die, which some of them do on this journey, that is your fault.
Yeah.
That is your fault, and you need to take responsibility for that.
Yeah, so these charities have blood in their hands.